Hi, I'm Brandon and welcome back. And today we're going to show you how we raised these Black Cayuga ducks from a broody chicken called Scotch. So Scotch is one of our cuckoo moran hens, and around November time she started to go broody, and by broody I mean she's literally in the coop 24/7 just trying to sit on the eggs that she's laid. They're not fertile, so they're just sitting on dud eggs, so we thought we'd put her to use and actually put some proper eggs underneath her. So although we like chickens, obviously, with all of them in here, we were also talking about ducks, and the Black Cayuga duck was something that kind of stood out to us when we were looking them up, and just because they look so good with their black and green shades on them, and they are quite docile as well, so you know they get on quite well with the chickens in here now. We went onto eBay to buy some Cayuga duck hatching eggs around November time, and they took probably a couple days to be delivered. They came in the post, really well packaged, and the postman looked after it. I think that probably was because on the top of the package it said live fertile eggs in them, and I guess he doesn't often see that. So on the day that we got them, we brought them in and just laid them on the top, and we kept them there for a day just to settle. So we didn't put them underneath any, underneath Scotch yet. We just left them inside because you got to leave them to wait for 24 hours. Once we let them rest, we brought them up, and we have an outhouse that used to be, I think, for ducks anyway, with the previous owners. So we converted it, put a little coop in there just for Scotch, and put 6 Cayuga eggs underneath her, and just to rest. And no sooner as we put her in there, she just jumped on the eggs and just sat there. She had her own automatic feeders, her own water and everything like that for her to jump out and in, to as and when she needed it. And from there it's 28 days of her sitting on it for him to hatch for the cycle. After a week in the coop, we decided to go up and candle the eggs. So this is a process of just taking any torch or light and putting them underneath the egg in the dark, and when you do that you can actually see through the egg and see if there's anything forming on the inside. And what we were seeing was some sort of like a dark shadow inside the egg, and that's shown that they were actually forming and growing. After the first week, for all the 6 eggs growing away, we left them another week. The second week we came back up, and 4 out of the 6 eggs had shown progress, but 2 of them hadn't made any progress since the week before. So unfortunately we removed them from the coop because they weren't successful. So then we carried on then, and throughout the process of just candling them every week, we were seeing the progress of the ducks kind of grow until day 28, when they started pipping. Now that they're starting to pip, it wasn't going to be long before they would be outside those eggs, and because it was Christmas time, pretty cold outside, and we wanted to increase their chances of survival. These ducks are quite resilient. They're used to more colder weathers, but we thought we couldn't take any chances. So in the day that they started pipping, we started setting up a little inside brooder just inside the house, and within it we had a heat lamp, a little heat mat, a mat underneath it. We put loads of straw and sawdust in there for them, and some food as well. But they didn't need the food to start with for the first day or two, because they end up consuming what's already in the egg, the yolk. So we got that ready inside, and whilst that was probably a day's worth of prep. In that time, all 4 of the ducks had hatched, and after leaving them another day in with their mum, we then brought them down inside and put them in the coop, the brooder inside the house. In the days to come, the ducklings were getting on all right, apart from one which was flagging a little bit, and within a day of them like starting to flag, they sadly passed away. So we ended up going from 4 ducklings down to 3. The good thing is that was the only one. All 3 ducks ended up getting nice and fit and healthy here. We didn't really do much of the looking after, because the Broody Hen did most of the hard work. So we noticed what she was doing was mantling the ducklings. So that's when she was bringing out her wings and puffing herself out to kind of protect them and bring them in closer. And they were treating her as a mum as well. The only thing that we did do was bring the ducklings to their water and dip their bills in the water, so they knew that they could, it was there and ready to be drunk when they needed it. After 3 weeks inside, they started to outgrow the brooder, because it wasn't a massive thing. So we ended up bringing them back out and putting them into the outhouse that they were hatched in. They stayed there all right. They were enjoying their extra space, running around with their mum. We made a little ramp up to the coop, and it took actually quite a few nights getting used to them to actually put them into the coop. They were going to sleep in the corner of the outhouse, but we wanted to get them used to the behaviour of going inside at night, because then when we did introduce them to the main chicken coop, they would follow them and go in there too. After a few weeks, Scotch, the Broody Hen, not so broody now, was trying to start getting back to her main flock, and she tried to just basically flying out the top half of the outhouse to come back to the main coop. So that's when we made the decision to bring them all in here, and join the main family. For the process of reintroducing them back into the main coop, we took the chicken in first and left the ducklings still in the outhouse. So we brought her in here for a day just to settle in and build up some of her strength, because it's quite an intensive process for her. So she did lose a little bit of weight. So we wanted to make sure that she was eating again, and up to strength, which she is now. After the first day, we then decided to introduce the ducklings. For us to do that, we find the best way of doing that is to come up at night when they're all sleeping in their coop, and open up the top and just dump them in while they're sleeping. So they don't know who's come in there, and they all wake up together as if they're one unit, and then they'll come out. And there wasn't any problems with them. They kind of came out, and I guess they were a bit surprised to see there's ducks in here now. We're not used to seeing them. And Scotch, we noticed, hung out with them quite a lot within the first week or so, looking after them. And then as the weeks passed, they just started to integrate a lot more. The ducks, they're like best of friends. They stay together as a three, waddling about. But they are all together now. So when we're feeding them, they'll all come out together and as a unit. So that's the story of how we raised these ducks from Broody Hen. If you like that video, give us a big thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time.